Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the second episode of this webinar series, Accelerating IDD Adoption. This webinar will be recorded, and we will be having another sharing session today, focusing on IDD. In the first episode last week, we have introduced few of the design use cases. And today, in the second and the continuous episode, we will be learning few more design use cases to be that you can actually implement and test out in your workflows. So in case you have missed the last session, you can watch the recording. We have already shared the recording on our YouTube channel, and you can have a recap of it, or you can watch it if you have missed the first session. So there's a QR code and also the link on the screen right now for the recording. So let's focus now on part 2 for design use cases. And for today, we have the entire customer success team of Graphisoft Singapore. So we have Vimal, Melville, and me, and 3 of us will be sharing on some of interest that you see on the screen right now. So we will be discussing generative design, design optimization, advanced visualization, design validation, cost planning and estimates, and then finally tender documentation. So let's take a look at generative design first, and I'm sure you all are very much familiar with either of these terms that you see on the screen right now. So it is most commonly known as generative design, or you must have heard about computational design or parametric design or algorithmic design. So all these terms are basically much more than just the free-form surface and organic forms. It actually allows you to optimize your design and make much more easier and informed decisions. So there are a lot of tools that work very cohesively with Archicad, and we will be looking at a few of them today. And these pictures that you see on your screen right now are all those buildings that are actually designed, and projects are actually in Archicad and have been optimized in terms of design or space and all other such parameters using tools like Rhino-Grasshopper and so on. So again, let's take a look at some of these things that you can also adopt in your projects. The very first example that I have here is for the University of Technology of Sydney, and it's a huge building with about 16 levels and 2 basements and so on. So what we are trying to achieve here is to have a facade with various options in terms of material and balcony placements. So we are going to use the curtain wall tool in Archicad and also the slab tool in Archicad in getting the boundaries from there inside Rhino, and using the components within Grasshopper, we will be able to bring in the elements from Archicad and will be able to place them based on the boundaries that are created. So here we have various components and various Archicad elements. As you can see, we have the balcony railing glass panels and balcony handrails and so on. All these are then controlled by different nodes, and the sliders you can actually customize based on the requirement. And then it will finally give you various combinations of the facade design based on the value that you key in those components. So this will enable you to have a much more holistic view of the final output, and also it will optimize the design for you to pick up the best out of what is being generated. So as you know that initially, or in a conventional manner, you would have been doing these calculations or this like hand rendering or a 2D view, but now with the help of these tools, you have predefined parameters that are based on your requirements, and they are all keyed inside the source code itself. So you can get various design variations, and this helps you to have a better visualization of your design options, and also it reduces a lot of wastage. So for this purpose, in this video, we have used Archicad, and along with Archicad, we have also used Rhino and Grasshopper. So all these three tools are in completely sync with each other to generate the information that you see on screen because of the direct plugin connection. Now let's take a look at the next design use case, which is design optimization. So the aim for design optimization basically is again to get a best design out of the predefined parameters based on your project requirements. So, in the process, you would have better trade-offs in terms of what fits your design and your project requirements better, and increases your productivity in terms of your delivery of your project, or avoiding wastage, and making your project deliverables much more efficient. So in this case, you have already have the initial design variables that you would key in as your constraints, and then based on that, whatever the output is, you're able to evaluate the design based on the input that you have provided. So if those parameters and the constraints are satisfied, you get the optimal design. If it doesn't satisfy those parameters, you will have to make some necessary modify those variables and evaluate your design again. So that will be the workflow for this optimization. And a lot of tools again are available for you to try out and test out, and again it works very cohesively with Archicad. So one of those tools are also like 𝗔𝗰𝗰𝗲𝗶𝗶, which works in a similar manner, where the architect would have a design brief, and he or she was going to key in those parameters as project requirements and constraints to have a optimal design and the options, and based on the information that goes in and the criteria is met, you can either adjust your design, reformulate, or get the final design that you would want to establish or achieve. Another such tool is Galapagos, and a quite interesting tool. Galapagos is actually available with your Grasshopper installation itself, so it's not an extra add-on that you're installing. It's basically inbuilt, and it's available under the utility panel in Grasshopper. And Galapagos is very versatile. It can be used for space maximization or view map optimization, where when you are actually planning your building, you can actually use this Galapagos tool to optimize your views for orienting various blocks in the building itself. Or you can also use this for calculating shortest distance. It could be either as small a thing as placing a printer in a room, or it could also be placement of staircases or toilet areas, and planning your space better. So it's quite a versatile tool that you can actually explore. But for today's example, we are focusing on tile cutting optimization, and this we would like also to thank Team Build to come up with this requirement. Team Build Construction. So they had this requirement where they wanted to minimize the wastage and come up with a workflow whereby they can actually optimize the cutting of the tiles. So for this purpose, we are going to use Rhinoceros in sync with Archicad and also Grasshopper. And there will be an additional plugin that we have used in this case, which is called OpenNest. And for OpenNest, it's easily downloadable from the Rhino website. You can just download it and install it. Once this is installed, you can see that panel inside your Grasshopper screen. Basically, OpenNest, it's actually a plugin with tools for unrolling, packing, and of course, nesting curves directly inside your definitions. It is used for various purposes again, but here we are using mainly for tile cutting. So let's see how this functions. So I'm focusing on one small area here, which is the toilet and the adjacent area on top, or the space on top. And for this purpose, we are using curtain wall, whereby we will size the panel the scheme based on one tile size, and the associated frames all will be made invisible, and the thickness will be 1. We will need a worksheet for it, and also a predefined fill pattern, which will be saved as a favorite. So 3 things here: curtain wall tile size, worksheet, and also a fill pattern. So from here, we are going to go to the recipe that has been already created for you all to experiment. We have this recipe with us. In case you want, we can pass it to you to test out. So here we have passed these parameters in terms of tile size, and we have the curtain wall here. So for the curtain wall, we will be getting the curves from Archicad itself by selecting both the curtain walls together and passing it to the node inside the component inside Grasshopper, and the cluster will take the parameters from there. The next thing simple will be to assign the worksheet that we have created and also the favorite for the fill. And then just have to run the script. As you can see, we can have the tiles being optimized. We will know how many tiles we will require for these 2 spaces and how they shall be also cut in a very efficient manner, in the sense that we know the number of tiles and the cutting. So as you can see, the Rhino and Archicad screen both will give you the same results. And this is how we will optimize the tile cutting. So as I said, this is very much available for all of you. We can pass this recipe to you. Please reach out to any of us, and we'll be happy to share this with you, and you can just test it out in your projects. And similar to this, we have also come up with window frame optimization also. So that is another recipe that we have come up with. So in case you would want to test that one, just let us know. We will be we'll be able to share both of these things with you. So let's talk about what are we looking at here. Basically, reducing the wastage. And again, in a traditional manner, you would be calculating using your 2D drawings and doing all the calculations manually, which would which are very prone to errors as well, and is time consuming as well. So here the recipe is available. You just have to select the space where you want to implement it, and key in the parameters based on your requirement to get this result. The output is immediate, and it gives you a better visualization also, and saves the time as well. Now let's move on to the next design use case, which is advanced visualization. For this, we will focus on Archicad first. As we all know that Archicad has the inbuilt rendering engine, which is the Cine renderer, and it's quite powerful to produce high quality renderings. And it comes up with a pre-configured setting, so you can actually just scroll through the drop down within Archicad for the rendering settings, and you can pick up one may be night view or daytime view or sketchy lines. You can just pick from that itself, and then from there on you can enhance those things further for color corrections and lighting. So what we see on screen right now is basically some snippets from a case study, which has insights from an architect from Russia, which is, her name is 𝗔𝗰𝗰𝗲𝗶𝗁𝗏 and she has shared a very detailed way of how she has used Archicad to the fullest to generate photorealistic output. So we have the surface parameters available very extensively. You can go and detail out those settings and bring in your desired images inside of the materials, and based on the settings within Archicad, you can come up with the realistic surfaces. And some of the outputs that are being able to achieve out of these settings may be conceptual rendering or white model, or even final output as what you see on the screen right now, which is completely enhanced in terms of shadows and light effects. If you would like to know more about how she has actually used Archicad and the settings inside, you can scan the QR code on your screen right now, and it will take you to the case study, and you can be benefited with the data or with the insights what she has also shared there. And in case you need more help with the output, you can just reach out to us. We will be able to assist you. And finally, and then we can also achieve visualization, better visualization, just by publishing your model to the BIMx model transfer site, and you can share those models with other stakeholders as well. They can just download the BIMx app on their phones or iPads, and then they can just browse through the model. And it's quite efficient in the manner, like it depends like which view you want to view. You can just go from a 2D to a 3D view, or you can just go from a 3D to back to a 2D view, and you can just make use of the cut planes and cut the sections or elevations further to visualize it better. So it's quite efficient in terms of getting into the finest details and having a photorealistic view again. And also we all know that from BIMx as well, you can actually make use of the BIMx hyper model and use your Google Cardboard to have a VR experience as well. And likewise, we have a direct connection with Enscape. You can scan the QR code on the screen. We have tried to export the 360 panoramic view of the model that we have been using for this webinar, and you can experience that in real time by scanning the QR code on your screen right now, and you can browse through the model, and it's quite alluring actually to see this model come to life when we are using such connections, as well as also using BIMx. So this also from Enscape can go to your Google Cardboard for real-time visualization. If you want to know more about the Archicad and Enscape connection, please visit our website, and the QR code is also there. If you want to scan or save the QR code for later, you can do so. And in case you want to know about this connection from us, please let us know. So this makes your visualization workflow much better, and also allows you to have faster virtual mockup approvals as well, because everything is now digitalized, and the models are all on either BIMx or in Enscape, or using QR codes, which you can be sharing those with all the stakeholders, and the models can be visualized or experienced real time, and you can actually have a real feel of the materials and also the finishes. So this is a very impressive workflow that I can see with using BIMx as well as Enscape. So with that, I would like to pass the time to Vimal to continue on the next topic.
All right, thank you, Rima. Okay. So, all right, so I hope everyone is able to hear me. So thanks everyone for joining. So today I'm going to share a design validation use case, and in this one we are going to check the BIM model against the requirements, either it is the standard requirements from the government agencies or the local authorities, or some company best practices and so on. So for that we are going to show Solibri Inside and Solibri Office direct connection with Archicad. So with Solibri Inside, which is pretty much a new feature, so it was available in Archicad update 2. So whoever is having Archicad 26 update 2, you should be able to use Solibri Inside as well. So we need to first define the targets, basically the elements that you want to test, and then the rules and rule sets. For that, we can use Solibri Inside editor on the web browser. And then once you define all that inside the web browser, you will be able to bring in the rules inside Archicad, and then you will be able to run against your model on the go. So when you do the design, you can do the check, and then you can do the changes immediately as and when required, or you can create issues so that you can assign the issues to someone who need to resolve this particular problem or issue that has been raised inside the model. So let us see that in action. So you need to go to design, and then under model check you have design checker. So this is available only on Archicad 26 update 2. And then the first thing you need to do is to set up the view from which you're going to export the model for doing the check, and then you are having this IFC translator as well. So you need to set that, and then here is the default starter pack, and then I have created my own collection of rule sets that I want to run, and right now there are 2. So you can see here there's a link for the Solibri Inside editor within Archicad, so you can open that so that it goes and opens inside the browser, the editor. And then here you can see these are some of the default rules, which is the starter pack rules. So you can see we have fire existence, the fire exit checks and all. So I can go to my collection, inside which I have 2 rules right now at the moment. And then if I have to create my own rule, so go to the rules and then click new rule. So here are the default rules. So just click the new rule, and then you can see these are the criteria that you can check against in the BIM model right now. So you can check for door clearance, window clearance, vertical clearance from a slab or something, and also the level of information, naming convention, and so on. So let me check for this fire rating for the doors. And then once you select that, you can choose the IFC schema, and I'm choosing IFC 4 schema. And then the targets. So basically I need to check against all the IFC doors. So I'm choosing IFC doors there. And then the information that I want to check. So you can see here from the door common P set, I'm checking for this fire rating. And then I'm seeing whether the value is matching 1 hour. So you can check against any value. So you can define your error message. So here you can see I'm defining it as fire rating does not match 1 hour. Okay, so you can simply save this error message and then click create rule. So it will create the rule for you. Let us check whether it has been created. So you can see here there's a rule created, and now I need to create the check, and inside which I can put this rule. So let us create the check. You can see fire safety checks for doors, and then we need to select the collection into which you want to put this check. So I'm selecting my collection, and then using these filters you can filter out the number of rules that you have and then choose the right one that you want to put inside this check, and then click check. And then now you can see the rule has been created within this collection. So going back to Archicad, I'm just refreshing the Solibri Inside, and I'm going to my collection, and I can see all the checks that I have created inside my collection. So let us run one by one. So under this door operability check, I'm just selecting it. For the first time it might take a few minutes. For the subsequent ones it will check and give the results immediately. So you can see here I have 3 doors which are not having enough space in front or in the back. So you can select that, and then once you see there, it will highlight that particular element, and then the rest of the elements will be transparent. So you will be clearly able to see that this particular door is not having enough space in the front. And then if you want to select it, you can use this select it in model option, or you can create an issue directly within the issue organizer from Archicad. So you can group all of them together, or you can create issues for individual doors as well. All right, so let us go back to my collection and then run the other rule, or the other check that I have created, which is the fire safety for doors. So when you select that, it will check, and then it will give you the result similar to what it was shown earlier. So if at all it is matching, then it will tell that there is no issue. So right now you can see all my doors is not matching the fire rating of 1 hour. So it's giving me this result. So when I run the other check, which is for fire safety check for walls, so it gives me no result, no error. So right now all the walls that I have in this model are meeting the criteria that need to be set. So like this, you can check inside the Archicad model, and then you can perform this kind of checks, and then you can change the design as and when required. And the next thing that I wanted to show here is the Solibri Office direct connection with Archicad, and this is a two-way plugin. So using this plugin, you need to have Solibri license for this, and then using this plugin you can pass the model from Archicad into Solibri Office, and then from Solibri Office, once you run the check and then you get the issues, or if you want to bring in selections or viewpoints, you can bring it inside Archicad. And I'm also going to show some of the rules that we have developed natively inside Solibri using the Solibri API connection. So all these rules that we show here, can be developed by ourselves, and if in case any requirements are there for us to check against any of the standards, we can create our own API rules inside Solibri. So let us see that in action. So let us first open the Solibri connection palette, go to Windows palettes, and then you'll be able to see Solibri connection palette if you have Solibri connection installed. So now start Solibri, and in the meantime you can set the export settings. So select the view that you want to use for export and then the translator. So just click OK here. So now let us see Solibri. So once it is exported, the model will be visible on Solibri. So you can see it is loading. All right, the model is there inside Solibri now. So now we can create our own rule sets or run against the rule sets that are already available. So you can see here on the left side, we have all the predefined rules, rule set examples that are available in Solibri by default. So you can use these rules to run against your model. And in between, there is called libraries. So you can see here, these are some of the raw rules that are available, inside which you need to set the parameters yourself and then run it against the model. So let us use one of the rules that is available on the example. So I'm creating a new rule set here, and then just drag and drop the rule that you want to check. So basically what rule I'm running here is to check the wall opening. So if the wall opening is very close to the edge of the wall, then it will create an issue, or it will highlight as an issue. So you can see here the end of the wall opening, and then the end of the wall should not be less than 200 mm. So I'm setting the criteria here as 200 mm just to see some results. So you can define this anytime and then change according to your design requirements as well. So any other parameters that you want to check here, and then you can define that, and then you can run the rule. So as soon as I run the rule, you can see the results are generated. And then I'm going to see how many walls have been passed. So you can see here 64 walls have passed this criteria, and then 596 walls, 64 has been failed, and then 596 have been passed. And then you can see here, along with the visualization, this particular opening is at a distance of 150 mm from the edge of the wall, so it is highlighting as an issue. So this kind of checks, when you check manually, it is very difficult to identify, but with Solibri it becomes very faster. And then you can create issues inside Solibri, which can be created as a presentation. Here you can see, once you create as a presentation, you can bring it inside Archicad, and then you can fix the issue if you want. So you can see, using the direct plugin, I'm importing the issue that I just created. So import selected issues, and it will bring it inside Solibri, Archicad issue organizer, and then you can see the element itself being added to this issue. So it automatically adds the elements, and then you can select the element, and then you can just right click, and then you can see only those selected elements in Archicad. So it's quite intuitive and very easy to bring the issues that you have found out inside Solibri and then to bring it across inside Archicad. So now if I want to select any of the element inside Solibri and then bring the selection basket inside Archicad as well, I can use the plugin. You can see here I've selected the wall inside Solibri and I'm able to bring it in, and I can bring it in along with the viewpoint. Right now I'm in Solibri. So when you bring it with the viewpoint, you can see the same view is set inside Solibri as well, and then the element is also selected. So let us see some other examples that we have created using Solibri API. So here is one example that we created for the escalator to check for obstruction above the pitch line of the escalator. So this rule is by default not available in Solibri, but we have created using Solibri API, and then we have set the criteria, and then when we run the rule, right, so you will get the result, and then it comes along with the visualization. So all this visualization has been developed in this rule, and then you can see within the set limit, if there is any obstruction above the escalator, it will highlight to you, and it will even show you the dimension of that obstruction above the pitch line of the escalator. So this particular rule will automatically get the pitch line based on the geometry of the escalator, and then it will run against and then give you the results. So similarly, there is one more rule which is checking for obstruction in front of a component. Basically, it can be used for checking for obstruction in front of elevators or in front of doors or whatever. So here it has been used for checking against automatic fire collection gates in front of in the MRT projects. So you can see here, the criteria here is set as 12 meter. That's why it is able to find an obstruction. But if in case if you want to change the criteria to around like 6 meter, you will not find any result. So let me just change it to 6 meter and then run the check again. And you can see the result is immediately okay there, which means that the rule is passed for this particular criteria against the model that we have. So all these rules you will be able to develop by yourself using the Solibri API. We have the resources to help you to develop, like for trainings and so on. And we have experience developing some of the rules previously like this. So you can reach out to us if in case you are looking for any custom development of rule sets or rules inside Solibri as well. So for the KPI for this design validation use case, it reduces a lot of time as it takes very long to manually check the models in using the viewers, and it also improves the accuracy and it reduces the reworks in the design process as well as in the construction stage as well. So the tools that we have used here are Solibri, Solibri Inside, and Solibri Office. So you can use either one of Solibri Inside or Solibri Office to complement the Archicad design that you have inside Archicad. And in the process, as I shown earlier, you have to create your own rules and then define the parameters for those rules and then run it against the model. And then you can create issues which can be transferred either using the direct connection, or you can even use BCF export to export it to the Archicad model. All right. So the next topic, cost planning and estimation with Archicad, will be shown by my colleague Melville. So I will pass it over to him.
Okay. Hi everyone. So I hope you guys are able to hear me. I'm Melville and I'll be presenting the topic of cost planning and estimation with Archicad. So I know that many of you over here might not be QS, but we'd like to share this knowledge with you so that you guys will understand that Archicad is able to accomplish IDD fully. So without further ado, let me begin. So before we see how this is achieved in Archicad, so let me explain what is cost planning and what needs to be done. So in very simple terms, there are three simple things needed to be done. One is estimation. Then with the estimation, you know roughly how much work is needed, and with that you can do the budgeting. And number three is cost control, to make sure that the actual does not exceed the budget, which also requires planning to ensure no additional cost will occur and to make sure that the project is financially viable. Okay, so these definitions are actually from the Association of Project Management body of knowledge. So this is based on UK. So just for your information. So let us see what I just now explained in graphical representation. So let's say for a project, you'll be split into various work elements, and each of them you will further split into deliverables, which are work packages that are derived from the cost breakdown structure. So these work packages are placed along the timeline of the project to plan for procurement for deliverables to be achieved. So this cost breakdown structure is also from the APM body of knowledge. Okay. So along the project, these are stuff that needs to be covered. So from the project initiation, cost estimation such as the conceptual estimation, which is done during the feasibility stage to give a rough estimate based on the benchmarking with similar completed projects, and also based on our client scope and objective. So after that, to design to tender stage with the quantity takeoff, as the design become more detailed, the takeoff will be more accurate until the tender stage. So after which, on the construction stage, with the cost reporting to monitor claims and payment and any changes and value engineering to be conducted. So the traditional process we know is based on 2D drawing from PDF, and then you will do the manual takeoff and transfer to Excel sheet. Now with this new process, which is based on the BIM software, in this case Archicad, so it will reduces human error from manual takeoff, real-time, give you real-time cost insight, visual cost analysis, life cycle costing, clash detection and cost avoidance, and enhanced value engineering. So all in all, it will increase your productivity because you will reduce on the manual takeoff, and it will increase your cost accuracy because the dimension are all taken directly from the BIM software itself, from the BIM model itself. So depending on the, so most of the BIM models are designed with high accuracy, so the cost will also be based on the dimensions. And then with the cost information inside your BIM model, it will allow you to make better informed decision making. So like for example, clash detection, you can see how much cost is being avoided for those clashes. Okay. So these are some of the pictures of how we can do from conceptual estimate from the project initiation stage to the design to tender stage, QTO, then convert to PQ, and then after that to cost monitoring construction stage. So the technology used will be therefore Archicad, and then you can also export it out to BIMx. So just to explain what types of cost plan you will have from the start to the end is basically like I mentioned just now. So at the feasibility stage, you have the initial cost plan or conceptual estimate, or some may term it as the rough order of magnitude. Okay, so basically it gives you a quick and high level approximation based on historical data, basically similar projects. Then to this will allow you to assess whether is it financially feasible, and also to support any decision making on the different design options. Okay, so it will consist some of the cost factors such as the project scope, type, the complexity of the project, and also like any special requirement, like for example, you need acoustic, which will cost a premium, the location wise of the project, any contingency and also like adjustment factor. So these are just some of the more general factors. So later on we will see more specific ones in the demo later. Okay, so to design to from design to tender stage will be from QTO to BQ, and this will be covered in the next session. So also the same for construction stage QTOs. The QTO will not be taken off because you need it for claim submission and also for claim evaluation if there is any differences from the site or any value engineering being conducted. Okay. So now we will see how to do cost conceptual estimate at feasibility study stage. So let me show you the workflow of it. So first of all, you need to develop the design option, and in the latest Archicad version 27, you'll be releasing this new feature, design option. Okay, so later I will show you more. Number 2 is to import presets property group in XML files, and then to assign, after which you assign classification and put necessary cost metadata. Okay, and then after which you will need to import the interactive schedule template. And lastly is to place these schedules and the design option onto a layout and then publish, so you can discuss with your client not only on the design option but also with the cost related information, whether this design option, how much will it cost accounting. All right, so before I go into that, so this currently we are having this Archicad 27 technology review program running. So basically it's a test drive of the upcoming Archicad release. So if you are interested, you can join via this QR code over here. So I will leave this page here for a few seconds. So basically this technology preview program will be open now till 15 September 2023. So if you test drive and then if you have anything, you can actually report, and then this will help to make Archicad better. Okay, so basically I'll move on. So the design option with Archicad. So in the past, we know that in AC26, we were for the different design options, we will either have multiple layers or different renovation filter to create the design options. But in the new in the upcoming Archicad 27, you can have all these design options in one single layer, and then to show the different design options. Okay. So now I'll just show you a short video of how is it being done. So over here you can see the design options. So I just turning on the feasibility, so you can see how easy for you to show the different design options. And all these design options are basically in one layer only, and also in one single file. Okay, So the design options will also be available in the quick option bar, and basically all these design options are under this one design option set, which is named as design option. So you can create new option set as well. For the different design option, you can actually create new option, or you can click this button over here. Okay, so now how do you open this design option palette? You can go to Windows, Palette, and then Design Options. So basically right now I'll be showing, highlighting 2 points is that for this design option 1, you can see the layer is under the masking 00. So it's the same for this design option 2. So just to show that all the different design options are available and is only using one layer only. Okay, so the next thing is if you model how it appears in one layer is because you relink this to that design option that you have created. Okay, so now for you to without the design option palette and for you to change between the different design options, you can actually create design option combination. So now I'm creating design option 1, and I just open it, turning on the visibility of design option 1. Okay, so the same for design option 2, I just choose design option 2. Okay. Okay, so now you can see when I change it, it will change accordingly to the respective design options. Okay, so now if I come to the quick option bar, if I change it, it will just show me the respective design options. Okay, so if I just change back to the main model, then it will not show me any of the design options. Okay, so this is basically what does the design option does in the new Archicad 27. If you're interested to know more, we will have training for it, so you can check with us. Okay, so next, so now I'll be showing how to do the conceptual estimate. So basically, like I said, the first thing is to import the preset properties. So you'll go to option, then property manager, and then you will just import in so we already created the preset properties, so you can use not only in this project itself, you can use in multiple projects. So if you are interested to get these preset properties, you can actually check with us, and we will be able to give it to you and also customize your project needs. So you can see the preset properties is classified to masking and morph. So you choose any of it, it's also all right. So then you will need to input the metadata. So over here, I'm just showing some of the more generic factors that will be considered for conceptual cost estimating, like the nature of the project location, the site constraint, the ground condition, the demolition fee, the consultant fees, insurance, and so on and so forth. Okay. So basically, once you key in all these, then the next thing is for you to import the GFA and conceptual estimate schedule template. So again, we have already created this template in XML file, so you can use it for multiple projects. So I already load in the schedule template. So over here at the criteria, you can see that now the criteria also includes the design option status, which is design option 1. And where can you get this? You basically can go to under ID and categories and just select the design option status. Okay. So with that, okay, so for the fields itself, basically it's just the home story name and the area. So this is to get the GFA. And then once you have that, you will generate a schedule like this. So with the total value, total area. And then after that, the next thing is for the conceptual estimate. So again, the criteria is the same, but for the fields itself, you can actually just pick up easily from the preset group we already created, property group we already created. So you can even add in some other, like the sustainability if you want to, if you considering it. Okay, so then you give information like this. So with the total zone area, and then with the rates of the per square meter, then you will generate the calculated cost. Okay. So now with the schedule and the design option, you can actually just place it on the layout like the and then you can actually publish this and discuss with your client not only the option itself, but how much will it cost. with a rough estimate only, because this is only at the feasibility study stage, just giving you a conceptual estimate only. Okay, so all these factors are actually multiplied by a percentage, because we don't have the full details of like the what elements and so on and so forth. Okay. Okay, so this is one, and then this is the second one. So basically, it's to show you it can be done easily in Archicad. Okay, so next topic, which is the tender document with Archicad. So basically, these are some of the tender documents that is commonly required. So out of all these, basically from BIM itself, we can generate things like the scope of work, views of quantities, and also the drawings. So for other requirements, it will vary depending on the nature and complexity of the project. So for all these, like the scope of work, as you can see from the previous presentation by Vimal on using the offers, it can generate the scope of work based on the client requirements. Okay. So then for the view of quantity, I will show you across the next few sessions. So for now, it's just a conceptual estimate. And for drawings itself, I believe most of you here are very experienced Archicad users who have already do a lot of submissions. So for tender or anything. Okay, so I won't be going through that much. Okay, so for the upcoming sessions, for the cost part, we will be showing all this. So basically, you will use the CMS based on the Singapore standard, and then you will generate the respective quantity takeoff, and also like the BOQ, convert to the BOQ, and also how you can use this for claims submission and also for evaluation. Okay, and then the following one during conceptual stage show how can you use this for cost monitoring and control. So basically, you can use the graphic overrides. So just to show you. Okay, so they are tracking based on the work packages and then also the plan progress and so on and so forth. So you can also show on the floor plan as well. Okay, so that's all for my part, and you guys can follow us on social media from Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn, and also on our YouTube channel. So thank you.